All right, boys, so today we're going to be taking a look at 7 of the best cores in the Regulation E metagame. And to start things off, we're going to go with none other than one of the scariest cores to go up against right now, and that is the Dusclops plus Blood Moon Ursaluna combo. So these two mons here are really good for a couple reasons, right? So obviously Dusclops is one of the bulkiest Trick Room setters in the game we have right now. This mon is incredibly fat when you pair it up with the Violite. And then it has this little cool tech as well called the Old Brick Break. Now, the reason this is really good is because one, screens plus, Aurora Veil right now is, somewhat popular. There's a decent amount of them running around on, whether it be ladder, online tours, or even, at the recent regionals. And then you pair that up with our good friend here, the Ursaluna, with the weakness policy. Now, the reason this is good is because Dusclops basically underspeeds everything in the metagame outside of Torkoal, right? And then when you pair that up here with a weakness policy Ursaluna, you can see right now, if you go quiet max special attack, you are hitting pretty freaking hard, right? And then if you get that up to +2, all of a sudden you've got over 400 special attack here, which is, quite a bit higher than its counterpart being the normal Ursaluna with Guts Flame Orb. And then you pair that up with things like Hyper Voice. It obviously has Blood Moon, one of the most broken moves in the game. Earth Power, which is fantastic coverage. It hits basically everything that normal doesn't. Because when you think about like what the normal type what resists the normal type? You're talking about steel types, you're talking about ground type, steel and rock basically, and earth power hits them both for super effective damage. Obviously, you slap on protect there, and then at this point as well, you're kind of just trying to make sure you get this special defense set up, somewhat high. Personally, I like to invest quite a bit into my special defense when I run something like this, maybe something like that looks pretty good. You have half the special defense of the HP stat. It's just efficient. Your natural physical bulk's already so high, so make sure you got that little bit of extra special defense is really good. And then Dusclops here, you just go like 0 attack. You just go Brave Nature. So not Brave Nature. It's the other way around. Wait. No, is it? Sorry. No, you can't do that. What am I saying? You want minus speed nature here, but you want 0 attack. Yeah, so you want that, and then you probably want to buff up when your defensive stats here. Most likely the physical defense stat is what I would probably recommend. Something like this could be pretty good. And then you just go like, you go plus here. God, I'm awful at this. But yeah, something like this I think is pretty solid. Again, you just want to get that physical defense at as high as possible. Obviously run min speed. You've got the brick break here. The terror on this mon here as well is dark. And I also just realized I'm actually talking about a core, not just a duo here. So let me check the other two mons on here, and that is our Iron Hands. And it is Water Ogerpon. So that is the core we're touching on here. It's like my Trick Room core. I think is really strong, really solid. But yeah, going back to our friend Dusclops here, has Will-O-Wisp as well, really good support there. And then it also has Nightshade for dealing a little bit of damage. You could also honestly on a set like this, if you're running Brick Break, you don't run Nightshade. I think Nightshade's better without the Blood Moon Ursaluna, or at least without the Brick Break combo. In this one here, you want the Pain Split. Pain Spit is just really good on this one. It makes it incredibly bulky. But yeah, between its natural ghost typing, it is obviously immune to Fake Out. With the Dark Terror here, obviously you're really good into Pranks the Taunt from things like Tornadus. And then with this bulk here too, you are just incredibly bulky. Not sure what happened to our nature there, but we'll chuck that back there. We were going to relax nature. Blood Moon Ursaluna, that's probably what you're running there. That's pretty standard in terms of those EVs. Our Terra type here as well is going to be normal Terra, basically because again, you just want these hyper voices to just rip through teams. And again, at +2, this one absolutely just does a number on teams. So yeah, that is really strong. Iron Hands here, there is a couple ways you could go about it. Obviously, on a Trick Room team, you don't necessarily have to go Assault Vest. You could look at things like Clear Amulet, Citrus Berry, even, like maybe lefties, although I don't, suggest it. Maybe as well safety goggles if you're really scared of like a Moongus with a team like this, because obviously, I think it's like a 28 speed Moongus could like underspeed most of these guys. Obviously, Ogerpon's good into it, but that's always an option. I do think, AV is just pretty consistent. The Terra, again, it's normally pretty team dependent. I do think Terra Fire is the best Terra on this one right now. The set's always going to be pretty standard. Wild Charge, Drain Punch are like your two main ones. Close Combat is also like really good if you do like, if you really want it to pick up some KOs. I personally don't love CC. I just like going for like Fake Out. And then on a team like this, you run Volt Switch, but Heavy Slam is also an option. I believe I have also seen teams where they actually drop Wild Charge or Drain Punch, either or, and they slap like Heavy Slam in that slot. But on a team like this, Volt Switch is really good because you can lead with, say, like Clops plus Hands, see what their lead is. Like, okay, I need to Fake Out. I'll Fake Out, set up Trick Room. If not, you're like, hey, I don't think I need to, I don't have to go for the other Fake Out here. So you can just go Trick Room, Volt Switch, and then you can just bring the Ursaluna in for free. You'll have a very slow Volt Switch, which is obviously really important on a team like this. Then for the EVs, honestly, I like running my Iron Hands really strong. I've been running attack investment up to 236, basically hitting that 190 benchmark. And then from there, I kind of just like split the bulk. Obviously, you want, as much special defense as you possibly can. On a team like this, it's always it's always difficult, right? Because I do think you probably want to consider going 0 speed on a team like this. But the second you go 0 speed, you kind of like potentially wasting EVs if you go into the defensive stat. Personally, I do like running something like this with about 60, and then you just kind of put the rest in the HP stat there. And then obviously, you're going to be wasting 4, but you could go the Brave Nature. But also, if you really want, and you don't necessarily care too much about the speed stat, you could always just go like Adamant, and then just run 4 points in the speed stat there, and then kind of be, decently fast out of Trick Room. But I do think if you're committing to like a hard Trick Room team like this, you probably just do want to go for the Brave Nature here and just go for the minimum speed. And then finally, Ogerpon on this team is just a fantastic glue mod. Ogerpon Water or Wellspring, whatever you want to call it. I think the reason this mod is so good is because it is just a much better defensive typing than, say, the Hearthflame Mask, for example. But also, it's just like, it's a support mod that can put on a lot of pressure. But it's also like, it's a mon where if you're going up against a HO team, when you run like, no speed investment, you're going to outspeed, basically everything under Trick Room. But if you're going up against opposing Trick Room or, like a balanced team, for example, there's a lot of mons that even with 0 speed investment, you're going to outrun them anyway. But one thing I do really like about Ogerpon is this mon just puts out damage, man. You just run like 76 Adamant. I think it's like 242, 128, or 124, and then just like pump like the rest into special defense here. You just go Adamant. I wouldn't run Brave Nature on this because, again, like your speed stat's so high that there's no reason to go any lower than the 131. But this mon, dude, it just goes Ivy Cudgel. Really good move. The final slot here, you can do a lot of different things. Horn Leech is pretty popular. If you were to slap a Rillaboom on this as well, Grassy Glide could obviously be really good. The other main options, though, are Wood Hammer and Power Whip. James Beck did, I believe, run Power Whip over the weekend. He actually used it to win the regional. I know that for a fact. So Power Whip is obviously a good option. I love Wood Hammer. The biggest issue with it is the recoil, but it's definitely just the most consistent in terms of, just putting out a lot of damage. But Follow Me and then Spiky Shield are pretty good. I would say on a team like this, probably you do want to drop this for Horn Leech, just because this mon is kind of more of a, it's like a pseudo support, right? Like, yeah, it can put out quite a bit of damage with its stabs, but you obviously, you want to stick around, you want to get those Follow Me's off and really just support this, these main cores here, the Ursaluna and the Iron Hands are the guys who are honestly going to win you the game most of the time. So yeah, the rest of the core is kind of there just to basically, just allow it to go through and, really carry. The mons you kind of want to pair up with this too. You think, you're talking about mons like, for example, Sunroom, I think, could be pretty good, Torkoal plus Hisui and Lilligant, because it gives you, like, a mode outside of Trick Room, where, you can go for, like, the after you eruptions, you could also just, like, use the sun to basically boost up, your Lilligant. There's also things as well, like, for example, like, a good Scarf mon normally works pretty well on teams like this, examples are like Landorus, Urshifu Rapid Strike, or even Urshifu Dark could be really solid on this team as well. And then also a powerhouse, like, like a really strong spec user, things like Fluttermane, which are naturally pretty quick outside of Trick Room. I also really like Chiyu with Blood Moon Ursaluna, because it's one of those things where you can't use the Dusclops to set up the Ursaluna. And then if it's like, okay, like Hyper Voice is really good here, you just get the Beat to Ruin in. Ursaluna it does so much damage. If Chiyu's on the board, dude, it will just one-shot resist, man. It's kind of crazy. Now, guys, before jumping onto the next core of mons here, what I kind of want to touch on is, it's not really like a core in a sense, but it's kind of the glue mons of the format. And the reason why I kind of want to touch on these guys is because, like, you're going to see at least 1 or 2 of these probably on every single core, and it's just because of how good these mons are, right? So that is Lando, that is Iron Hands, that is Fluttermane, and that is Ogerpon. Now, with Ogerpon, I'll do it last here because really it could be any of the 4. I do think the grass one is probably the worst, simply because if I'm going to run a pure grass type, you probably just want to run Rillaboom. The Cornerstone one is interesting. I think it's probably the least explored, but it's definitely starting to see some results. So I'm really curious to see what people do with it going forward. And then finally, Fire and Water are both just insanely good. I think the Fire one is a little easier to use, especially on ladder, because this mon kind of just pumps out damage. Like, that's its job, is just to, deal a lot of damage. And then the Water one as well, kind of based on that team, we were just talking about. The Water one's just a fantastic utility mon. It can be, an offensive mon. It can be a supportive mon. It's really, really good, guys. So these mons here, I'm not going to touch too much on them here, but like, any of these cores I go through, you could honestly slap any of these mons onto one of those cores, and they're going to be really damn good. But of course, guys, the last one I quickly want to touch on here is actually the subscribe button, guys. If you don't know, the subscribe button is only used by about 20% of players, so I really recommend using this on your teams. It's really good, and it really helps me out. So if you guys could, smash that subscribe button. Anyway, guys, moving on from here, there was a team I kind of touched on just before, and that was James Beck's, regional winning team, the team he used to win Peoria. Now, there is a core James had on that team that I think is incredibly good, and I definitely think it is worthy of making this list, and that is the Tornadus Rain combo. So basically what this team consisted of was Tornadus setting up the Rain Dance for, some pretty strong Pokemon in the rain. And that here is Tornadus plus Urshifu Rapid Strike, Ogerpon Wellspring, and Goldango. Yes, Ogerpon Wellspring, it makes another appearance here. The mon's freaking good, dude. Sets on this, Tornadus can be run in a couple of different ways. I do think either Focus Sash or Covered Cloak are probably the two best ways to run it. I'm personally a massive fan of Covered Cloak, so I'm just going to use that one for our example here. Basically, what makes this mon so good, it is without a doubt the best Tailwind setter we have in the format. It is also a Prankster Rain Dance user, which is great. It has this move called Bleak Wind Storm that absolutely loves Rain Dance. And then in the final slot, there's a bunch of different things you can go, right? Taunt's an option here. You can always run Hurricane if you really want that little bit of extra damage. If you're running, say, a Focus Sash set, Protect is really good. There are also options like Scary Face, which could be really good too for extra speed control. Also comes and helps out, if you're going up, for example, into, Trick Room matchups, you can like double Scary Face your ally, and then get them slower than anything you really want. And then finally, moves like Icy Wind are also really, really good. This one has a lot of different, different moves you can go for. In terms of terrors, I think if you're going Sash, Ghost is probably the play. I am personally a fan of Bulky Steel, so I'll use that for our, our little example here. In terms of the EVs, the set I've personally been running a lot recently is something like this, I believe. It was like 164, and then that. Yeah, that's basically what I've been running recently with the Modest Nature. The main reason for that is because this just makes the Bleak Wind Storms hit that little bit harder. It's pretty good into the Urshifus and the Ogerpons, having a little bit, extra investment. And then the Bulk's just really, really nice. It allows you to live a lot of things. And I don't necessarily think this mon needs max speed, unless, of course, you're going up against, like, say, for example, an opposing Tornadus, which in a lot of cases, if you're playing open cheat, I do suggest just going for your Bleak Wind Storm or your Icy Wind on turn 1, because a lot of the times they're going to outspeed you and they're going to taunt you. But if you were going to, say, run a Focus Sash, I do think max is good. You probably want Protect on it, and then I would probably just run like Rain Dance, Protect, Tailwind, Bleak Wind Storm, and then just go max speed, max special attack, with probably a Timid Nature, just so obviously in the taunt mirrors you're not getting caught off guard. If you really wanted, you could drop Protect on a team like that and run the run taunt, and that would be pretty damn good. On this team here, Ogerpon functions probably a little bit differently to what we just saw. I do think when you're running on like a team like this, Woodhammer is the go. Again, I know some people don't do it. I've seen it, it's kind of rising up a bit. I personally just don't like Hornleech. Hornleech never kills Urshifus, even if you're like adamant 252. I don't think Urshifu still takes, like, at most, it's like 99%. So I personally don't love it. On teams like this as well, you can always go Follow Me if you want that extra bit of support. I do think it's really good with, when paired up with things like Urshifu and Gold and Gale as well. There are other options as well, like Swords Dance, which is really, really common on this mon. Yeah, I would say they're probably like the two moves you want to go for. If you really wanted, Taunt is a good option as well. Taunt is just really nice, for example, into the team we showed off before, going up against, something like that, that Dusclops, you really just want to taunt it to make sure it can't do anything. And because you're not Prankster Taunt, obviously, the other Terror Dark doesn't really do anything into it. In terms of this spread here, I do think minimum you want is 143. Personally, on teams like this, though, I just like going Jolly Max. Basically, like, I was testing Adamant for a long time. The issue with Adamant is Jolly Urshifu outspeed you, and for Water Ogerpon in particular, it's not the worst case scenario if, Urshifu Rapid outspeeds you, but you definitely don't want to get outsped by a, an Urshifu single strike and just one shot by Wicked Blows. So because of that, I run something like this. If you really wanted, and you wanted to say, for example, run something like Adamant, you could drop this down to, like, say 143. I forget the exact, I think it's 156, and then you could start, like, looking to invest in a lot of bulk from there, and kind of do whatever you want, right? You could, like, split the defenses, make this one kind of bulky, while also still putting like quite a bit of damage. 143 is the minimum, though. That allows you to outspeed a Lecky in Tailwind. When you're in Tailwind, obviously they're not. But yeah, it's up to you, really. As I said, I like Jolly Max. In terms of the Urshifu, I do think Urshifu is one of the best choice Scarf mons in the game. I do think this mon is kind of getting slept on just a little bit. A bit of new toy syndrome. Obviously, the Ogerpons all being part grass type is not the greatest, especially when you compare it with things like Rillaboom and, just grass collide down. But look, two of these Urshifu Rapids did actually just place in the top two at Peoria. So obviously the mon is still pretty damn good. In terms of the moves here, obviously Surging Strike is an absolute must, and Close Combat is your other must-have. U-Turn, really good on teams like this. Then if you want Aqua Jet, really consistent, really nice for endgame scenarios. If you don't want to run that, Rock Slide is also really good into the current metagame. But yeah, this mon puts out a lot of damage, and when paired up with Tornadus, like Rain Dance, Tailwind, Icy Wind, it just makes Urshifu incredibly strong. Because again, like, Tornadus is great because you don't even have to go for the Tailwind some games. If you're playing against like a balanced team, you can just go for like Rain Dance plus Terra Water Surging Strike, and then just pumps out damage. And then finally here, Golden Go. This is like one of my guilty pleasures of the metagame. Like, I brought Gold back in like Reg B or whatever it was to OCIC, but I didn't love them on it. Just fit on the team. I didn't really play it well, and I haven't really used gold for, you know, most of Scarlet and Violet, but I am absolutely loving it right now. I think Make It Rain Shadow Ball is like incredibly good. Having T-Bolt as well as like, you know, a coverage move is, you know, fantastic. You could also run Thunder on a team like this, but I'm not that crazy. In the last slot here too, like Trick Room is like, sorry, Trick is really good. It doesn't get Trick Room. Alternatively as well, Power Gem is really nice as well for, you know, things like the Fire Ogerpon as well. In terms of spreads, you know, you could always just run like that 112. Like 112 is a bare minimum on this mod. Like I would never go anything less than 112. 120, actually that's a lie. I'd probably never go less than 120. I think 120 is like really solid. And then from there, you kind of just invest whatever you want into special attack. I like going to the final bump here. You go the Modest Nature, and then kind of just pump it into defense. There's nothing too crazy with this one. It just puts on a lot of pressure, man. I like Terra Steel. If you want to be a bit more defensive, Terra Water obviously is also really good. But yeah, I love Terra Steel on this one. I think Terra Steel Make It Rain is just fantastic. If you can get it off right with, you know, like things like Tailwind, you know, also Rain Dance helping you out into like, say, for example, Fire Ogerpon, it makes a big difference, and this one can really sweep through teams. The other kind of mod you kind of want to pair with this as well, like I think Rillaboom is really good with it. Obviously, you know, giving yourself like a potential Grassy Glide here instead. And then obviously, you know, Golden Go absolutely loves Rillaboom. We'll kind of touch on a call with that a bit later as well. But Rilla Gold is fantastic, you know, Fake Out plus, you know, Grassy Terrain, and then pairing that up with, you know, just like, you know, Fake Out into like Make It Rain with Terra Steel is, man, it's an incredibly strong combo. And look, it just won Peoria, so clearly it's good. Now look, since we're on the topic of Tornadus, I'm going to quickly just do another Tornadus team. Like I'm sure anyone who's been around the channel long enough knows I love Tornadus Manual Weather. Kind of didn't touch on it there with the Rain Dance, but I do think Manual Weather is incredibly good right now, just because, you know, obviously going up against opposing Manual Weather, being able to reset it is really nice, but also going into things like Alola Ninetales, which is, you know, somewhat common, could always be really good too, because if they lead Alola Ninetales and you just Sunny Day, the mon feels bad, it can't Blizzard, it can't Aurora Veil, you know, it like obviously can Freeze Dry, but like Alola Ninetales doesn't hit that hard, so yeah, that is, you know, that is that, but yes, Terra Steel, Sunny Day, I still run Terra Steel just because obviously I think, you know, you're probably not setting up Sun for an opposing fire type. But yeah, the Sunny Day Tornadus, the mod you want to pair with this, I absolutely love Chiyu, who's about to type it. That's actually not who we're talking about, funny enough. Fluttermane and Fire Ogerpon on this team. As I said before, guys, you're going to see Ogerpon on like almost all of these cores. I've done a decent job actually of trying to get it away from some of the cores later. But yeah, look, you're talking about Sunny Day, you know, choice specs, Fluttermane is absolutely insane on this. Ogerpon as well doesn't get an item because he's got that Herflame mask. And then the final slot here, Chiyu does work really well in this slot. I've tested it a lot myself. I love Chiyu. I'm very biased towards that mon, but I do actually think Hisuian Arcanine is actually the better mon for this this final slot here. And the reason for that is Tornadus basically in mirrors, like, you know, like the Tornadus mirrors could always be kind of awkward, and there's really isn't that much in you know, in a Tornadus mirror that, you know, Arcanine doesn't deal with. The only real issue there would probably be something like, for example, Landorus, but like Landorus does not want to lead into a speed boosting Fluttermane right on turn 1, right? You know, it's not going to be a good time. And yeah, it's just, yeah, Hisuian Arcanine really good here. In terms of the item, I love Choice Banded. You can always run things like Rocky Helmet, Assault Vest, all that kind of stuff. But this team, its job is basically to deal damage, right? That is what it's here for. Yeah, you go Terra Fairy always on this guy. I was testing it, like, you know, messing around with like defensive Terras. I'm telling you guys right now, if you're running Fluttermane, just go Terra Fairy. It's too good. Moonblast is insane. Dazzling Gleam is insane. Shadow Ball is decent. And the final slot, this can be whatever you want, right? I personally... It's hard, right? Because like there's a lot of good options here. I do think Icy Wind is probably the best one. Obviously, there are things like T-Bolt, Power Gem, you know, a lot of good options there. But I do really like Icy Wind on a team like this because, as I said, right, you run this as like a, you know, a speed boosting mon. Personally, I've been running up to like 190. I think 190 is really good. And then you just do like the minimum bulk. For anyone who doesn't know, this bulk allows you to live things like, you know, Ice Spinner from Qian Pao. I think it's the bare minimum. If you're going to run it, just go that. You don't also need as much special attack on this mon because obviously you are choice specs. If you really wanted, the other option here as well is going like 170 modest. Just to make sure you get that special attack boost while still being really quick. In the sun, this is really good, but I do personally like running Timid with a little bit of extra speed, just because I do like getting the speed boost in some matchups, just because it can really make the difference, right? Like, it could be an endgame where Fluttermane isn't like amazing, but Ogerpon is, but like Ogerpon gets outsped, but then like your speed boost to Fluttermane, you know, Icy Winds, gets him slower, and then Ogerpon sweeps through. And speaking of Ogerpon sweeping through, Ivy Cudgel in the sun, boys, I don't really know what else to say. It's busted, man. It puts on so much pressure. Yeah, Like this mon, like even resist don't want to eat this thing in the sun. You know, if you go Terrify, get that +1 in the sun. Yeah, dude, it's pretty damn busted. In the last slot, there's a couple different options. Obviously, Follow Me is always good. I love Follow Me on Ogerpon. I don't necessarily love it on teams like this because sometimes, you know, things like Stomping Tantrum are just like really good. Mainly, like the main reason behind Stomping Tantrum is like if you Terror this mon, you can't really hit Heatran anymore, and Heatran's really popular. So having, you know, the Stomping Tantrum option is really good. But yeah, look, I just run Jolly Max. It's very simple. This mon, it's good. I tried Adamant, guys. I didn't like Adamant because Urshifu just outspeeds you if they go Jolly, and it's not a fun time. You don't want to eat you know, Rapid Strike, Surging Strikes from the Rapid Strike version. It's scary. And then Arcanine, like again, there's a lot of different items you can run on this. But you know, like Flare Blitz with like with Choice Bands broken. Rock Slide is really good. You can always run Head Smash. I don't personally love Head Smash on this mon. But Head Smash is always an option. Extreme Speed is probably the last, you know, like must-have on this guy as well, because Bandit E-Speed in the late game is pretty damn busted. In terms of Terrors, normal Terror is really good, but I do think Fairy Terror is probably the best. It allows it to take on the Urshifus pretty damn well. You know, the, you know, Rapid Strike doesn't want to, you know, hit you in the sun. And then obviously, you know, Fairy just hardwalls the Dark one, which I do think is pretty damn important on, you know, especially on Intimidate mons. Like the last thing you want to do is go up against one of these Urshifus and they just sweep through you, even though they're like -3 attack, which is pretty damn bad. You can always get like Play Rough here as well. Did I lie? I thought this thing got Play Rough. Okay, probably Terra Blast is what I'm thinking. You can go Terra Blast. Close Combat is another option. Crunch is an option. Like this guy has a few options. Yeah, it's kind of just, at the end of the day, it's what you want. I think probably Terra Blast is the go though. For some reason, I thought this thing had Play Rough. Does normal Arcanine get Play Rough? Arcanine, do you get Play Rough? Yeah, so you get Play Rough. Damn, that sucks. Why doesn't the other one get the other one doesn't get it. But yeah, that's whatever. Yeah, this core, it's really strong. You could run Jolly Max if you wanted. Yeah, you definitely want Jolly. Don't trust that. Yeah, Jolly's good. You could also, if you're crazy, you could run Adamant. Like maybe Adamant's decent, but I think this 156 mark is pretty good. Because of that, actually, part of me wants to say just like run this like 1 point faster, so you always outspeed. Yeah. Also on a team like this as well, I forgot to mention it. Leer can actually be really good as well. Leer hits both targets for those who didn't know, so like it really buffs up these two guys a lot. But I do think like you kind of have to be like a dedicated physical team to go that. Probably better on non-sunny day teams, but it's always an option, yeah. But yeah, this Sun team is really good. I absolutely love Tornadus Manual Sun. It's definitely my most successful team so far in Regulation E. Yeah, could not recommend this core enough, boys. So the next core here, I'm gonna try and get through this one a bit quicker because this is it's definitely the most standard core really of the format. And that is Lando. You know, our guy Lecturus, our guy Iron Hands, our guy Ogerpon. Yeah, guys, I know I already basically touched on this entire core. And then finally, you know, the source of this one, and it's King Gambit. For those of you who don't know, King Gambit is on the rise right now. This one is incredibly good. And I think it makes this really weird triangle with like Lando and Hands, right? So Iron Hands is the most used mon right now in the format. This mon obviously does not like Iron Hands. It really does not want to take a Drain Punch from this mon, especially because right now King Gambit really wants Terra Dark, right? But what hard walls Iron Hands? It's our guy Landorus, right? The second most used guy in the format, arguably the most used guy. It is really between these two and Fluttermane if you don't count Ogerpon and, you know, as one guy, if you kind of split it up into its 4 forms. Otherwise, Ogerpon's the most used guy, right? But basically, you know, like Landorus hard walls Iron Hands hard walls King Gambit. But King Gambit with Black Glasses and a Sucker Punch, and you know, of course, Defiant. You know, for those who don't know, every time you're intimidated, you get +2 attack, so you end up being +1 attack because technically -1, then you're +2. Yeah, but a Black Glasses Terra Dark Sucker Punch KOs basically every Landorus. The only Landorus that I don't think would get KO'd by this is probably like insanely bulky Landorus. Like AV Lando probably doesn't. Bulky Scarf Lando probably doesn't, but every Lando right now is Choice Scarf, guys. If you're playing Lando, go Choice Scarf. Terra Flying Choice Scarf it's really good, boys. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Stomping Tantrum, great. Rock Slide, great. Like there are so many flying types and stuff like that in the meta. Fire types as well. Rock Slide, it's good. U-turn, fantastic for pivoting, and then finally Terra Blast. That's why we're Terra Flying, boys. Terra Blast of this one, it's insane. Obviously, you know, Jolly is pretty good. You know, you can run something like this, run the bulk there, just go adamant. You know, this mod hits so damn hard. Like, look at that, 209. You outspeed so many mods in the metagame, especially if you pair this with extra speed control. It's really damn good. You know, I'm not going to touch too much on this. We did a spread for him before. You guys know how to run it. On a team like this, though, I would not run Volt Switch. I would run Heavy Slam. That is like the one big difference. But yeah, take the spread from before. Ogerpon, on a team like this, it's the bulky set. It's the one we use from the Trick Room team. I'll quickly just do this one again. You know, probably go Ivy Cudgel. If you run, you know, a Rillaboom on this team, obviously, I think Grassy Glide's really good. Horn Leech is probably just the most consistent. Power Whip also probably pretty damn good. On a team like this, though, this is your Follow Me Mon. It's your redirection. It really enables the other 3 Mons. And then finally here, Spiky Shield, because obviously Spiky Shield is just the better protect. But on a team like this, again, you just want bulky. I think you want slow, you want bulky, yeah. It's nothing fancy, yeah. You still hit really hard, and you're also a really good support. But King Gambit is the source on this team, right? There's a couple of different ways you can do it. People have actually opted a lot to just drop the Steel Stab, which I do think is kind of crazy. So something like this is always really good. In terms of the build, honestly, like this is like probably the most consistent one you'll see. Something like this, just like dump 1 point there, kind of, you know, put the rest here. Yeah, just because I like having even numbers, I'm going to do that. Yeah, that is like the most consistent set you're going to see. You could also run Assault Vest on a team like this as well. If you're going to run AV, I'd probably recommend maybe probably just the same EV spread, right? Like, I don't think you need too much more. Like, also 1 point extra in defense there. I forgot that. But yeah, you could also run things like Terra Flying, for example, on this mon if you really don't want to, like, you know, like, lose to, like, ground type moves. Alternatively as well, Terra Fairy's pretty decent because it gives you a way better matchup into hands. There are also, like, options where, like, if you're kind of relying on Landorus giving you the extra damage, you can always just drop this and go, like, Iron Head, right? Iron Head is pretty damn good in that regard. And as I said, if your if your Iron Hands matchup is really, really bad, I do think like Terra Fairy plus Terra Blast here is also like an option as well. Obviously, you know, you don't want to see Iron Hands most of the time, but with Terra Fairy, Terra Blast, you feel a little bit better about it. But this core, it's definitely, you know, one of the most consistent cores right now. I think there was a bunch of them in the top 8 at Peoria. It is also just the most common. Yeah, it's a basic balanced core. It's really consistent, guys. Like if you want to like, you know, get to like decently high ladder, this core will carry you, man. It's so freaking good. Now, I kind of want to touch on a bit more of the spicy cores now. I don't even know if I want to say these like spicy per se, but I think Kommo-o is incredibly good into the metagame. Now, the next 3 cores I'm going to touch on here are all dragon cores. I'm just going to build around a dragon type at least. I think Dragon's just incredibly good into the metagame right now. Obviously, Ogerpons are really, really good. Iron Hands and like Landorus don't love fighting these dragons. They don't hate it, they don't love it. Obviously, you know, Terra Blast from a Landorus, you know, does, you know, hit Kommo-o pretty damn hard, but Kommo-o is incredibly naturally physically bulky. You see this here, like this mon's stats, its HP is kind of bad. Like you kind of wish that like one of the, you know, attack stats, maybe like the attack stat gave like 20 of it to HP, but obviously, you know, there are a couple different sets you can run with it here. But I do think Kommo-o has 2 really, really good sets. One is like lefties plus Iron Defense Body Press, or you can even go like Citrus on a set like that. But I do think the best one, at least for ladder in particular, is the Throat Spray one. Now, in terms of, you know, abilities, they're all actually pretty decent. Like Soundproof could actually be like really good, for example, into things like what's his name, Ursaluna. Overcoat's great for, you know, just like ignoring a Moongus. Bulletproof also has, you know, some, you know, options as well, basically, you know, things like Shadow Ball. But basically this mon, it's got the combo here, Clangorous Scales plus Clangorous Soul. Clangorous Scale is an incredibly powerful stab move, right? So you see that 110 base power, it doesn't miss, does lower your defense by 1, which in this metagame is kind of bad, but it also hits both opponents. And then Clangorous Soul, its other signature move here, basically you sacrifice 33% of your HP, but you gain an Omni Boost. That's +1 in every single stat. When you pair that up with Throat Spray, because this move is a sound-based move, you get like basically an Omni Boost plus, you know, it's +2 into your special attack. So this one, all of a sudden, just absolutely starts pumping out damage. It's really freaking good, man. It's really good. Protect, obviously very common on this mon here. And then the final move kind of depends on your Terra. If you decide to go Terra Steel, obviously I think Flash Cannon is the way to go. But if you go Terra Fire, that's also Terra Water. If you go Terra Fire, Flamethrower is the way to go. Basically, I'm Steel here, so I'm just going to say Flash Cannon for this example. But either of those are really, really good. I should probably also just round out the rest of the team, I think, before I go into the EVs. On this team in particular, we're going Clef. Clefairy here is incredibly good. Friend Guard next to a mon like this is fantastic. It also has Heal Pulse as well. And it's just able to, you know, redirect a lot of the moves Kommo-o doesn't want to eat, especially on Terra Steel, because I do think Steel is probably a little bit better than Fire. Kommo-o just does not want to eat, you know, physical fighting type attacks. And Clefairy, he can kind of eat those with, you know, with his Follow Me here. And a Violite just makes this mon incredibly bulky. Another one I love on this team is Sinister. Sinister gives you a second form of redirection. Also gives you a good Rocky Helmet holder. Rocky Helmet is incredibly good into things like Urshifu, because again, Kommo-o loves to basically get its Omni boost up and sweep through. Another reason too why Clef is really good, it's really good into Dark Urshifu. Sinister is really good into Water Urshifu. It basically hard walls it. There's not really much you can do about it. And the final one on this team is just our good friend Grimmsnarl. This mon loves screens, and Grimmsnarl is just really good at getting up screens. Biggest issue is obviously they do share that fairy type weakness, but at least, you know, being able to get up a light screen or reflect is incredibly good when paired up with our guy Kommo-o here. In terms of spreads here on Kommo-o, its HP stat is really bad, so maxing it out is really important. Is it 143? Is it? I forget exactly what it needs. Part of me thinks you actually have to run Timid on this guy. I think, is it 143 you want? It really depends what you're doing, but I think 143 is the go. That outspeeds our good friend Dragapult. And then you kind of just dump the rest into special attack here. You can do that. If you wanted, you could also run this a bit more offensive as well. Like you could, I don't love the idea of going like modest max here, but that's always an option. You just go like 72, run modest max, and kind of just like dump the rest into HP. Either or are really good. This mon basically, it has so much physical defense anyway. Also, you just want to like, you always want to split on this mon. But yeah, getting like the +1 into both these defensive stats is really good. But as I was saying, I do think like Timid and then like 60 is probably just the way to go. Why does this look so bad? Timid. There we go. Run that down to like 143 and then you like run that up there. Yeah, something like that I think is really good. Because this mon, it basically just wants to get up that Omni boost, start sweeping. Clef here, there's a few different options. Clef actually is, it's not that bad. It does really like protect, obviously, but it has access to things like knockoff. It also has Icy Wind. Also like Moonblast is like actually half decent into some matchups. Like there are times where you're happy to click Moonblast, but this last slot, it really comes down to the team, guys. It's whatever. If your Trick Room matchup, for example, is really bad, After You is also good because you can use that on your teammates. If you're going After You just want to go like this is probably your play. I personally love just running Bold Max. Basically, the reason for that is the metagame right now is so like heavily physically, like it's basically built around physical mons, yeah. So something like this is just really good. You just eat physical hits for days. And the special bulk, it's like with a Violite, it's still pretty decent. Yeah, you go up to like, what would that be? 129, I think, off the top of my head. So this mon still like really good there. I do know Grass is pretty common, but one of the best things about Grass is it allows you to redirect spores, for example. But on a team like this, for example, if you're going to go say like Overcoat, you don't need Terra Grass. You just want to go something defensive. And you know, a great defensive typing for fairy types is always like Terra Steel, Terra Fire are really good. I think Steel is probably the best one. But yeah, something like that's really good. Sinister is fantastic with Kommo-o because like, again, like this one, it's all about lowering its like, its HP stat here with Clangorous Soul. And Heal Pulse is like really good at bringing it back up. But like, you know, you can like Heal Pulse it up and like potentially get off like say 2 Clangorous Souls. And then there are times as well where you kind of just want to switch in your Sinister with Hospitality here and just go and, you know, heal the guy up. But this guy, it's good. He's got Rage Powder. He's got Strength Sap. He also has Macha Gotcha, you know, his go-to. It also has things like Trick Room as well. Like, it can be good for like, how do I explain this, right? So when you run a mon like Kommo-o as like a setup mon, normally you want like a second option, right? So there are a couple different mons you can go for. I'm not going to name them all here, but say for example, like, Golden Go, you know, Nasty Plot, right? Maybe something like that. Yeah, a mon that wants to set up, but it doesn't necessarily want to set up its speed stat. Mons like that could be really good with Sinister, especially behind the screens, because it's like, oh, I'm going up against this hyper offensive team. I'm gonna like, you know, get up my Nasty Plot, get up my Trick Room, and then I'm gonna sweep you onto Trick Room, right? You know, Iron Hands is another great example. I don't think Kommo-o and Hands work that well together because they're both very weak, and so is, you know, our guy Grimmsnarl here. So like Specs Floodmane would put a lot of pressure on that team. But yeah, you know, like there are other setup mons that really just want to play like under Trick Room that I think, you know, Sinister could be really good with. Another great example actually is probably like Blood Moon Ursaluna with Calm Mind on a team like this, right? You could get, you know, Blood Moon next to like Clef, Grim, and, you know, Sinister, and it could put on a lot of pressure, right? In terms of EVs, this mon always wants to max out its HP stat. Again, it's its worst stat. Its special defense is also pretty bad, but you also don't care too much about this mon's special defense stat just because the meta is so physically orientated right now. In terms of the stats here, I do think something like 140 with a positive nature here is really, really important. I do think minus attack is always good, unless you want to, really, play for Trick Room, but I don't think playing for Trick Room is necessarily the best idea on this one. And then at this point as well, you kind of just want to go something like this, really just basically, get a little bit of special attack. But yeah, like this mon's job really is just to stick around, Rage Powder, Strength Set, potentially set up Trick Room, and also potentially to spam Matcha Gotcha, because the option to burn your opponents 20% of the time it's pretty strong. Terra on this guy, I like Terra Water. Terra Fire is like also pretty decent. It really just depends on what you want. I'll put Terra Fire here just for now. Actually, that's a lie. Terra Fairy is also really good. Terra Fairy is actually probably the best one on this set. I don't know why I didn't say that at the start. Fairy is just really good at eating the dark type moves. Strength Stab's really good. And yeah, this one, it's pretty scary, dude. I'm not gonna lie. And then finally, just to round out this team here, the guy, Grimstyle. Look, this guy, it's pretty obvious, right? Spirit Break. It doesn't miss. It's a strong stab movement, one that hits pretty damn hard. Lower the opponent's special attack stat as well, which is really good. Parting Shot is fantastic, especially if you pair this team up with like an Intimidate user, or in this case, Sinister as well could be really good, because you could Parting Shot out into your Sinister, get them to -1/-1, while also like healing up your Kommo-o. It's fantastic. Terra, you probably just want Terra Ghost on this guy. Main reason for Terra Ghost is you don't want to get faked out. It's the last thing you want. This guy, he loves his max HP, and then at this point, you just invest into bulk here. I personally love running something like this because, again, the metagame is so physically bulky, guys. Like, the metagame, it's just, everyone is just, like, sorry, not physically bulky, it's so physically orientated. Everyone hits so damn hard. Having that little bit of extra here is really important. But also, potentially calculating for things like, specs make it rain and, specs dazzling gleam could also be really, really important. But for me, this is just how I like to run it. It's, yeah, it's pretty standard, guys. It's the Grimstyle set I've been using for most of Scarlet and Violet. So yeah, really good team though. Kommo-o behind screens is fantastic. As I said, this team really loves like Intimidate mons, and they're probably a secondary mon to set up. So I think Hisuian Arcanine could be really good. Landorus as well is also pretty solid. And then something that just wants to set up behind it, that can be whatever you want it to be. Really good. Hisuian Gudra actually probably also isn't even that bad. Like Iron Defense, Body Press, Heatran is also probably pretty decent as well. Because they're just mons that kind of match up pretty favorably, at least into things like Blood Main. So the next guy I want to talk about here, the next dragon, is the guy, big bad Baxcalibur. I'm a huge fan of Bax. I think this guy's incredibly good. And I think the Clear Amulet Baxcalibur set right now is insane, right? So we got Terra Poison on this guy because it is the best Terra. But I think the reason I like Bax so much is because Clear Amulet Ice Shard one-shots Landorus a lot of the time. And if they do go for like Terra into you, Icicle Crash also just one-shots it. Glavis Rush is an absolutely absurd stab move, and Protect is also really good. Glavis Rush plus Ice Shard also combos really well, because you can Glavis Rush him down, and the next thing you can Ice Shard to get rid of that, the drawback here of the, the double times damage. Alternatively, on teams like this as well, Loaded Dice is really good. You can go like Loaded Dice. I'll quickly write it out here. Loaded Dice, then you've got Scale Shot. You've got Icicle Spear. I like Icicle Spear way more than Glavis Rush, than Icicle Crash. My biggest issue is like this having a 10% mischance, which feels really bad. And then your options too are like Swords Dance or Dragon Dance, both of which are really, really good. I think on a set like this, you probably want to run like max speed here. Main reason is because you just want to outspeed Fluttermane after a Scale Shot. And then you can also just go like, like 190 Adamant and then just like kind of pump into there. I think that is pretty damn good. Alternatively, if you're running Clear Amulet, which is again my preferred set, at least, for right now. I don't like setting up, Clear Amulet as much. I kind of think this mon just hits so damn hard that you may as well just like start picking up KOs the second it comes in. And on sets like that, I run to like 112 here. And then you kind of just got like Adamant Max and then kind of just like dump it into defense. I was running, I think it was it this? Was that my set? Yeah, I think that was my set there. Yeah, something like that. Basically the reason, for this speed stat, we'll get into in a second, but it's its main partner here, and that's the Alolan Ninetales. Because that 112 Icy Wind, I think, allows you to outspeed all, I think it's all base 100s. Which is really good, like max speed base 100s, obviously. And then obviously after 2, you outspeed everything. But Alolan Ninetales is really good. Obviously, setting up the snow for our guy Baxcalibur is really important because it makes this, defense that double, which again, in a metagame where everything is so physically orientated, having, that 50% extra defense is kind of insane, I'm not going to lie. And then we have our guy Ogerpon Water coming back. It's just a fantastic support for Baxcalibur. It's really damn good. And then finally, the guy we kind of just touched on, which is Heatran. Obviously, Heatran doesn't love fighting types similar to Baxcalibur, but it just puts on so much pressure, and behind Veil, this one is it's so insanely bulky, it's kind of crazy. Ninetales has like 2 sets. Like one is the, I can't believe I was typing in Reflect just then. One is the Focus Sash set, the other is the Light Clay set. I do think Light Clay is slightly better, because if you get up the Aurora Veil, Aurora Veil. That's Aurora Beam. God damn, I can't. Oh my god, boys. If you got the Aurora Veil, obviously it's not quite as good as screens, but you can get it up in one turn. But yeah, it's really good, man. It's like, it makes this team so bulky. These are like 3 really bulky mons. If you get up the screens, they become even bulkier. It's dual stabs as well in things like Moonblast, Blizzard, Freeze Dry. Like, they're all really, really good. Obviously, I think you want Protect always on this mon. And then it also has things like Encore. It has Disable. It has Icy Wind. Like, there's a lot this mon can do. Like, there is so much it can do. But that, yeah, I think Alolan Ninetales is like really, really cool. I do think like Timid Max Speed is like almost always the way to go, simply because, again, you just want to try to get off these Icy Winds potentially, or at least get off a quick Veil. And then from there, it's really up to you. You know, you could like kind of like invest like this maybe, and then just like pump into HP. Obviously HP is really important on this one. You want to stay alive as long as possible. It already has a really good special defense stat, and its, defense stat being doubled by the snow also makes it pretty damn good. Terra's on this guy. Terra Water is really nice. Terra Ghost is also another option as well if you're worried about Fake Out as well. Ogerpon on a team like this, it's the same set as one we touched on before, guys. I'm not going to go into it here. It's just like the 76 Adamant set. I think it's really, really good on this guy. Yeah, 76 Adamant. You run bulky, you run Follow Me, and basically just redirects for a guy like our guys like Bax and Heatran. Heatran's a really interesting mon. I do think the Life Orb set right now is probably the best. Flash Fire also is like really good. And you just run things like, you go Heat Wave, you go Earth Power, and then you go Flash Cannon, right? And you just go like Protect. Alternatively, if you wanted, Assault Vest is like good if you're really worried about your Flutterfish matchup. It's like really, really good into them. And then at that point, you just run like Terra Grass, Terra Blast. I do think right now though, Life Orb plus Terra Fairy is like insanely good on this guy. Some other options as well is a kind of set like I kind of touched on a bit earlier, and that's like Lefties. And then you pair that up with what is it? It's Iron Defense, Body Press, and Heavy Slam. And then you pair this with like, say for example, Rillaboom, and then it's kind of similar to what we're touching on a bit earlier, where you've got like Lefties plus Grassy Terrain, and it's just really good, yeah. But we'll go back to the other set, just because I do think the Life Orb set is like probably the best, especially on a team like this. But yeah, Heat Wave, Flash Cannon, and what was the last one? Earth Power. And then on this, you kind of just go like, again, pretty similar to what you do with Baxcalibur. I think you probably want at least like 114. You probably go to like 180 modest, and then you just like dump into HP. This mon does not need investment in its defensive stats. They're already so damn high that HP is just way more efficient. And obviously you kind of want to pump out damage. Like if you really, really want to get technical here, you probably go to like 179 just to, get the, what's it called? The max out of the Life Orb chip here, and then kind of just dump it into speed. But yeah, something like that I think is really, really good. And yeah, this mod, it pumps out damage, and behind Aurora Veil, it's absolutely insane. I do think Baxcalibur is super underrated right now, and I think it has a fantastic matchup into Landorus, obviously. Its biggest issue really is the Steel types. Like, that's its biggest weakness, and that's what I think Heatran really patches up on this team. And Ogerpon as well can redirect Steel types as well, which is always pretty nice. But yeah, Bax Snow I think is incredibly good. And then finally, the last core I want to touch on here is one of my other favorite cores right now. It's about my guy, Roaring Moon, aka Roaring Mid, the guy. I actually am a big fan right now of Boost Energy Roaring Moon setting up Tailwind. I think it is really good, especially with what pairs really well with it. And that is my guy, Golden Joe. I have since day one of this game said Roaring Moon, Golden Joe makes like the perfect, like defensively, they're perfect for each other, right? Like Golden Joe, what's he hate? He hates ghost types, he hates dark types. Roaring Moon resists both. What does Roaring Moon hate? Roaring Moon hates like fairy types. Golden Joe resists it. He hates fighting types. Golden Joe's immune to it. Golden Joe also hates fire types. Roaring Moon resistant. Like, they're so pervy. If you look at their defensive synergy, it's absolutely fantastic. Not to mention, as I've been saying, I love Choice Specs on this guy. I think Choice Specs is really good, and I think Choice Specs Tailwind is even better. Knockoff was like a huge buff for this guy. He really, really loves that. I think Terraflying Acrobatics is always really, really good. And then Protect is also fantastic. But the other two mons I actually am kind of rounding out this team with here is our guy Landorus, Choice Scarfed, of course, because you already know that is the guy. And then Rillaboom. Now, because Rillaboom's on this team, there are a couple ways you can actually play this, right? So you don't actually have to go Specs, right? I've already touched on Spec Golden Joe, so I'm actually going to touch on the other set here, which is Lefties. And then you also don't have to run Tailwind. You can actually run Dragon Dance, right? So basically with DD, right? So you're always going Terraflying on this. With DD, you can put yourself in a position where like you can just like start sweeping, man. Like this guy, he doesn't need that much damage. You can go like Adamant like this, run your max, right? And then just like, kind of go crazy. Just like invest quite a bit into your bulk, and then it's just, it's a good mon. It's strong, it's consistent. We love, we absolutely love Roaring Moon, guys. You guys already know that. We love Roaring Moon, yeah. But I also think too, like the other set like is the Tailwind set, which I personally kind of think I prefer most of the time. If I'm going Tailwind, by the way, I'm always just going like Jolly Max. Because I'm just a pleb, yeah, you just go like Jolly and then like 87, make sure you get that speed boost there, then just like split your defenses. This is my preferred way of playing the team, just saying that, but obviously, you know, if you're someone who likes DD over Tailwind, the other option is there as well. We did touch on the spec set earlier, so I'm just gonna like quickly show you guys like a nasty plot set here with lefties, right? So you just go something like this, yeah, this is really good when paired with Rillaboom. You could keep Terra Steel, but I do think a defensive Terra Water is good. Also Terra Dragon, which by the way, guys, low-key is like the best Terra right now, or like one of the best defensive Terras. And then on a team like this, again, kind of what I was saying earlier, 120 is probably the minimum speed stat you'd want. You probably want to run this to about 160 here, just for that modest nature. And your game plan is just always to get up the nasty plot, basically. And that gives you so many EVs here just to kind of invest into your bulk, right? I think the meta is just really physically defensive right now, so really physically offensive. So I like this to dump into my defense stat there. I don't really have any like specific calcs. I haven't really started prepping for any tournament yet. So because of that, I do just kind of go a very basic set like I have here. If you really want it, you could run like a bit more speed here and go up to like that 129. But again, that's up to you. If you really want to go crazy, you go like 132 and creep the no speed Ogerpons as well. So there are your options there. Landorus touched on it, not going to do it. It's the standard Scarf set, just I said it earlier in the video. And then finally, the guy, Rillaboom, has a few different sets. Assault Vest is really good. If you're pairing it up with, say, like an Iron Hands that wants Assault Vest, you could also go like Citrus Berry on this guy. Fake Out's good. Grassy Glide's good. This one pairs incredibly well with Ogerpon. You know, again, you probably want to slap an Ogerpon on this team. Double Grassy Glide is always good. High Horsepower is a fantastic coverage move on a team like this, or sorry, on a mon like this. Obviously, you struggle against like Fire types and against Steel types, so having High Horsepower is really freaking nice. And then the final move here, especially if you're on like an AV set, it's probably going to be either U-turn or Woodhammer. It's up to you. I personally do prefer running the double stab here, because Woodhammer is like incredibly good for picking up things like Fluttermane in one shot. This is definitely not the spread, by the way. Don't ignore that. Yeah, ignore that. I go Adamant, yeah, because I'm a Chad. But yeah, in terms of the spreads on this guy, I just like going like really bulky. I think it's 68 off memory. 68 plus 244 allows you to live things like Icicle Crash, I think it is, from Qian Pao. And then for speed stat, minimum for me is like 114 on a mon like this. If you want to go more, take a bit out of the special defense stat here, but with the Assault Vest, you know, this is already pretty damn strong. Best Terra is Terra Fire. If Terra Water is also not bad, but Terra Fire is probably the way to go. But yeah, this core here, it's one of my favorites right now. I think, you know, like Roaring Moon Tailwind plus like Choice Specs Golden Go, even like Rillaboom plus like Golden Go is good, especially if you want to run like a lefties plus plot set. It's just like you heal so much. Like you just go like you take some chip, you nasty plot, you recover 12% back. You know, you protect, you like pivot out your Rillaboom or something, you get another 12% back. Then like maybe you get a KO before they hit you, you get another 12% back, you protect, you get another 12% back. All of a sudden in like, you know, 4 turns, you've just recovered 50% of your health. It's crazy. Like it really makes Golden Girl like a mon they have to target down, but with Protect, they can't always do it. But anyway, guys, that is it. You know, I've just been rambling on for quite a bit. But that's, look, 7 of the best cores. These are 7 cores I personally tested. I think are really good. And look, their results show, you know, these cores here, most of them, you know, all got results at Peoria. And I've also seen, you know, some of them getting results too in some of the online tours. So if you guys could, obviously, let me know what you think of the cores. Let me know if you think there's anything I missed. Like, let me know, is there a specific core that is like insanely good that I just forgot about? Because I'd like to know. Also, boys, you know, join the Discord if you haven't already. You know, we've got, you know, quite a few people in there. We love, you know, talking shit about VGC. You know, we talk about anime, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, guys, join the Discord. We have a lot of fun. And finally, if you could, obviously, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the algorithm and it means the world to me. But anyway, boys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.